Hi, Andrei. Thanks for coming to the interview, and I'm very glad that you're here to dig into details of House because there's so many interesting parts about the project. And to begin with, I would love you to give an overall introduction of yourself, and then we can jump into the project.
Hi, Dennis. So I'm Andrew, and I'm CTO of the Haust Network. So my responsibility is to care about, technical aspect of the solution, some integrations, and in general, how the Haust Network should look like from the technical standpoint in this like nowadays world.
In this interview, we will be jumping between different depths of the topic. We will be going a little bit on the surface for more business-oriented people, but then we will be given a deep down into technical bits and pieces, of course, too. But let's maybe start with the sort of a business overview and talk a little bit about the vision or mission of House and what's that and what are you guys solving, what is the project is for, and what are you building?
I think that it's a pretty standard approach, but I think that we have a original point of view on it. So we try to simplify interaction with a blockchain, with a DeFi, with this like new world, yeah, let's say. And each time when we are thinking about what the value we can provide for end user, we call it like a granny filter, So our target auditory shouldn't think about like how to install the wallet, how to keep some privacy, don't need to check this a lot of technical aspects, and we really try to simplify DeFi. We try to simplify the interaction with the blockchain, but without compromising the security, because if someone decides to build just like custodial solutions, definitely it's pretty easy to make it simple. But to make the DeFi simple and keep the privacy and keep the security, it's much more complex solution. And we use the blockchains here not as like endpoint or not as a name or target. We use a blockchain just as an answer how to provide the simplification. So our long-term vision that using of the blockchain in DeFi should be the same simple as using Gmail or some other like emails, yeah, and services, because it should be the same level of complexity.
Okay, understood. And then, what are the specific pain points if we focus on this user experience? Since you mentioned that anybody should be able to use it without any deep understanding of tech, what are the specific pain points that you're addressing with the project?
So, like, we try to simplify interaction, as I said, and the DeFi. What does it mean? It means that we will use our blockchain solution to represent some investment strategies across many chains, across many DeFi protocols, and be like a one entry point for the user. So we not even try to focus on existed crypto community. Yeah, we try to expand it. And definitely, I'm sure that our solution will fully, satisfy, will work normally for advanced user, but in the same time, we should keep it simple for the new ones. It's why I said that it should be like a granny-oriented solution, So users should send a transaction, get some, invest in some of the DeFi strategies, make a cross-chain swaps and the cross-chain transaction without understanding how it actually works. Because right now, if you're, for example, decide to use a bridge, you need to connect your wallet, the transaction on the source chain, and sign the transaction on the destination chain, and recognize that asset that you're getting is not the original one. It can be the same, but it can be wrapped or some other thing. So we try to keep it simple, everything. And for this, we create not just the blockchain itself, but also like a mobile wallet and a mobile application, as well as AI agents.
All right. And let's then jump a little bit into how, because there are so many different projects that talk similar things, but they don't have as much as you do, because we will be talking about performance numbers of Haust Network, and they're staggering, but that's going to come later. let's talk a little bit about how you actually solve this issue.
Okay, it's the right question because like a lot of things that I previously taught, like it's the base words. Everyone tried to simplify DeFi or simplify the blockchain. Yeah, but what's our comparative advantage is that we try to be like just one entry point for everything. So it doesn't mean that we just focused on the blockchain itself or just in the DeFi itself, even not in AI agent itself. So the solution should include everything. As in your bank application, as an example. Yeah, when you use it, so you have your own account, you have some loans, maybe in the bank. Hope no, but maybe. And when you interact with it, so you have everything in one account. So we try to do the same stuff, but for the DeFi and for the blockchain. So you can send some transaction to your mom, let it be, or help your sister to create a DeFi strategy or whatever. Yeah, and AI agent, it's also like I think it's a key component right now because everyone really know how to work with the chatbots and this OpenAI standard window is, I think, the most used website that I normally use. Yeah, and I think that's the same for our auditory. So in our long-term vision, it should be the same simple as using chatbots, the same simple as using like a bank account or whatever. Even maybe even better, so simpler. So.
And what's behind the hood? I know that, of course, you can't share everything about your technical architecture, but if you give us a bird's eye view, for instance, on that, how many interconnected systems do you have? What are the key roles of certain systems, and how does it all play its role in achieving this level of abstraction, I would say, that you're building?
Right, and basically it's a pretty cool question. So we built on the Polygon CDK Aragon implementation. Yeah, that means that we really will be like a part of this big Polygon ecosystem, and so it's a ZK rollup. So it's layer 2 based on ZK. That means that we really try to make it not just simple but also pretty cheap. Because for end users it's pretty important, and if you're familiar, and I'm sure that you are, but with some bank systems, so it should work with thousands and maybe even millions of the transaction. It's definitely one more tricky question. So if you're trying to build some DeFi application similar to the bank, you also should be ready for like a big number of the user and big activity. And if you try to make it simple, it means that just one transaction is not like a miracle. It's just a daily routine, or better to say like a minute routine for end user. And because of it, we really need to have like a pretty fast network, stable one, already tested. Because as I said, like we not try to build just a blockchain. Yeah, it's an ecosystem. That means that it should, like the blockchain should satisfy a lot of requests from the speed perspective, from the performance perspective, from the stability perspective, also pretty important, And we decide to use Polygon CDK because it's well-developed solution that really fit to our requirements. Yeah.
Okay, let's unfold a couple of things here. One is that, of course, Polygon CDK, they say now it's formerly Polygon CDK, now it's Agglayer CDK. In terms of Agglayer integration, how do you see the Haust network role in the Agglayer integration, and how do you think you can leverage Agglayer benefits?
Yeah, basically like Agglayer, it's one of the reasons why we decided to build on the like Polygon CDK. You said like Agglayer CDK, it's important, but it's just names. Yeah, so from the technology standpoint, it provides us access to the stable technology, and we just achieved the highest TPS across all the ZK on our testnet. So and also like gas usage per second, it's also like the highest across ZK rollup. So we really try it in the battle, and we was pretty satisfied that it stays sustainable based on it. And we wanted to be, as I said, like entry point. That means that user who decide to join this pretty big like a community and pretty big ecosystem. So we really wanted to simplify this access, and like a house network, it just one of the components for the general Agglayer system. And when user, for example, inside our mobile application wanted to work with his own balance, so he can, just check, okay, so I have this number of the stable coins and like USDT, let it be, and this number of wrapped ETH, and he said, okay, I wanted to make a transaction to like my granny address, and but he shouldn't care about what the source chain and where like the stable coins are originally stored, and and because of it, like Agglayer make it possible. So in reality, he said, okay, just send like 1,000 of USDT to my grandma, and our agents recognize, okay, grandmother address is this one. You don't have enough of liquidity in the source chain, so let me aggregate this liquidity across the many chains and just send the transaction. So Agglayer provides such opportunity to work with aggregated balances. So I think it's pretty important, because when you work with your bank application, you actually not really care where your like money is stored. Yeah, it can be your own account or your business account or some some other currencies account, but you don't care. You just do whatever you want, and I think it's the same user experience can be achieved with our approach.
Yeah, your grandma seems to be one wealthy lady.
Yeah,
we're referring to her quite a lot. Let's talk about her token. I'm sure she has some house token, right? And let's maybe talk about house
on
token
a testnet. Yeah.
On a testnet, yeah.
Yet.
How's the token usage? How's the token usage works in terms of I don't know, maybe lowering your gas fees, because I know that you have pretty low gas fees, and this is one of the unique bits about network. Let's unfold this maybe a little bit, and overall in, I don't know, transaction sponsorship, whatever is related to token that can be interesting for others. Because one of the things is that one of the things I want to highlight here is because one of the things I want to highlight here is that we have one of the rare cases where we can run such a high-performance ZK rollups, which we'll go back to in a second, with native, custom native tokens.
Yeah, you're totally right. That like a house is a native token of the house network, and it will be used for pay for some fees, etc. But important thing that we also apply like a account abstraction on top of the house network, because everything that I described before can be achieved just in case if user's transaction can be simplified, etc. Yeah, and one of like key component of our ecosystem and our marketing strategies that we will, because of the account abstraction and because of the Paymaster, will cover some user transactions specifically, in our chain. But the house token, it's our native token. It can be used for pay for some transaction fees if someone, I don't know, somehow will create more transactions that we expect, and after some limits, it's for sure it should be paid by the user first. It's also it should be like a cross-chain token. That means that with our bridge and with this approach, it will be available across the many chains, but I also think that it's more or less like a standard approach, yeah. And definitely we will launch our DAO soon, and few more companies and few more strategies what to do with the house token. As an example, we create some just an NFT collection that will be converted in something later. I can't name it, but we just briefly describe it in our social media, So it's also about, social part of the token, not just for some technical stuff, but also for some socials, for voting, for some, we call it biogenesis, etc. On our chain. So what user can do with this token and with our own collections and some other social parts. Yeah.
So it seems like you're building a whole ecosystem of things around Haust Network, and I would love to dig down into this a little bit and ask you, of those people who are listening to you right now, who should start exploring Haust Network right now, and who should start get benefit from it? Who's your who are your people you're making it for?
Okay, cool question. Yeah, so right now, definitely we kindly ask everyone to join to our testnet, test our own DEX, implementation of our own DEX, implementation of our own lending, our own account abstraction, because it's pretty important part. So right now it's more for not the professionals, definitely not, but for someone who know how the MetaMask work, so and wanted to see more advanced user experience. What we really try to achieve with our own application and our beta version of our application on the testnet. So try it, check it, report if you will find something. Yeah, we just passed an audit with our mobile application, successfully passed, basically, So right now it's for DeFi or blockchain native community, yeah? But it's just right now, because right now we're on the testnet phase. When we launch the mainnet, we will be mostly focused on auditory who first time trying to the DeFi, first time trying the blockchain and whatever. And in this case, it's why we need this account abstraction. Why do we need this Agglayer? Why do we need also, covered some gas fees, and why we decided to create our own application? Because, it's pretty easy to, not easy definitely, but it's possible to launch your own blockchain, add it to MetaMask and say, okay, everyone you can try it or do whatever. But, when you build an ecosystem, it should include much more stuff. And you asked me also about who will get some benefits out of it. We have few programs and few initiatives how to, hold the attention of the community, how to, invite someone outside of the blockchain ecosystem to our solution, and few answer how to simplify, how to remove the barriers, etc. And so we really I think that we right now we are creating the solution for anyone. Yeah, so I used this term a granny filter too many times, but it's true. So if any granny will be able to interact with the blockchain without understanding how it actually works, okay, well done. So it's our aim.
Yes, and the following question is kind of obvious after everything you said, but let's still uncover it. How do you see this milestone of blockchain development? And I would say that Haust Network for blockchain is a milestone. In a couple of years, what will bring to blockchain world the fact that Haust Network exists and flourishes?
Okay, I think that's maybe the most important question across this interview. Yeah, so I think that in a few years, all of us will work with a blockchain just with using AI agents. I mean, the AI agents will help you to we'll have some address books and have some integrated DeFi solution under the hood, and so you will just talk the same as you're right now talking with ChatGPT and say, okay, please send some transaction to my mom, or pop up my centralized exchange with this wallet, and that's it. Yeah, so our long-term vision that everyone will interact with the blockchain in this way. And a Haust network, we really check across the ecosystem and across the existing solution who provides such level of experience. And so this, I think, this niche still open. So we can be one of the first who try to do it. And the blockchain itself, as I said, it's not a name and it's not the last answer. It's just like way how to implement something. So I think that, and we will be one of the first who provides such level of interaction and such level of user experience with the blockchain, with using AI agents, with using, we call it native yield. Some DeFi strategies can be represented just with ERC20 tokens. So user will use AI agent to work with the strategies represented by ERC20 tokens. And I think it's a huge, it's a really big simplification. And our end users, I'm pretty sure, will be satisfied by this user experience.
And let's delve into the AI agents a little bit on how users meet them. Like, for instance, me or my granny, for that matter, how would she interact with it? Like, she gets into Haust Network.
Okay.
Back online. Hello.
Yep.
Yes. So let's think a little bit about the AI agents. Let's talk a little bit about AI agents a little bit more. And since this is a solution for so many different people, how does one encounter an AI agent and starts interacting with it? And what can one do now, and what can one do in the nearest future in terms of your network? Whether it's me or my granny, for that matter, like how should we start using it?
Right now, when I was at Toronto, I start presented it just on my own hand. So it's a like web page where you can connect your own wallet. It can be like a MetaMask Trust wallet or whatever. And you can ask about like actual like currency price, but I think it's the simplest task. You can ask about your DeFi like existed strategies or your DeFi positions, and it will answer you. You can ask to send some transaction to somebody else, and you don't need to provide this, this line of numbers and letters, just everything that you need to say, okay, send something to my mom or to my granny, and that's it, yeah. But it's what we have right now. But in the near future, it will be also like some strategies that can be like used or like some DeFi position in the chatbot format. So you just send, okay, and with account abstraction, especially like a modular account abstraction that we actually used, you can tell to your AI agent, please, if the price of ETH touch, like let it be 3,000 of US dollar, please do like provide ETH as a collateral to ETH protocol in this specific chain as an example, or with the highest APIs that you can find across all the integrated chains, then borrow and as I don't know, like make some swap or buy some options or whatever, and you don't, after this, you don't need to touch your wallet or AI agents at all, because with modular account abstraction, it's feasible, just to let AI agents do specifically what you said on the sum that you previously said without sharing your private keys or so everything that you will need, just like, okay, I agree that you will do this and this with this sum, and that's it, and then you can be even offline, you can be, I don't know, in a plane as an example. The AI agents will automatically implement your strategy when, market condition or some other action. Maybe you said, okay, like tomorrow's morning, do this and this, or when your mom sends you like 100 of the US dollar for your breakfast, do this and this. Why not? So any of the trigger can be used here, and any of the combined strategies can be created with this approach. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Let's go back a little bit to the performance of the network, because we are talking about all of these exciting things, and the fact is that Haust Network already performs really, really well. As you mentioned, you reached very high, I would even not be shy saying 300 megagas per second at peak load, and it was fastest ZK network out there. Again, very proud that Gateway managed to build this bit of this part of Agglayer CDK, which is CDK Aragon, that enables all of that performance. But still, that was a bad from your side to start engaging with Gateway, I think, because back then when we just started the collaboration, it was just early days of this CDK Aragon. How did you come across Gateway, and how does it work, the relationship so far, and what role does Gateway play in the scaling and enablement of the Haust network?
Okay, yeah, it's also important. I think that the coolest part about this solution and about our interaction with the gateway, that we really try to adopt our solution for nowadays trends, And if we are talking about like AI agents from the really beginning, we didn't plan to apply it in such in such way as it is right now. Yeah, so that means that solutions should be flexible, and our partners also should be flexible and ready to adopt the solution for the new requirements or few new business vision. So because general and global, our aim is the same as from the beginning, but way how we wanted to achieve it changed few times, and from the really beginning we want to just simplify DeFi, then we recognize that we also need to implement AI agents and some account abstraction, etc., etc. So, and it's really important, but it can be achieved just in the case if your partners provide your solution with a pretty cool quality, and already tested and already integrated with something. Because when we decide to implement, as an example, like an account abstraction, it's not such easy, in a case if you're used some solution, you also should check all the YIPs. Is it available on your implementation? And in the case if no, so we need to update network then and few more steps. And we're really satisfied by the gateway services and what you guys provide to us. Yeah, so because we said, okay, we wanted to move forward with the Agglayer. Yeah, then it means that Agglayer also updated from the ZK to the pessimistic proofs. Yeah, so that means that our network also should be, updated to stay in the a top of the technologies. We're really somewhere, I normally call it like a terra incognita. So we're really on the frontier of the technologies implementation. Yeah, so. And Gateway provides such services. And if we said, okay, guys, we have a new idea and a new, the features that we wanted to add to our network, we just in a contact with the gateway and say, okay, guys, please help us. And you also mentioned big numbers of about our TPS and the gas usage. Yeah, we achieved, as I remember, more than 1,000 transactions per second. For ZK rollups, it's pretty high, the highest basically one. Yeah, it's huge, and because of it, we really was satisfied that our network stay stable, because and it's also was a really hard test of the performance of the network and its stability as well. So yeah.
Yes. What advice would you give to others who would consider to join Agglayer CDK and be a part of it? What are the benefits for chains to join the network?
I think if you wanted to work with aggregated liquidity, if you wanted to get access across the many chains and across some stable coins or some other assets, and that's also important if you wanna to allow your user to work with some DeFi protocols on other chains or initiate a transaction from one chain in another chain, So Agglayer is understandable way how to do it. And I really hope that it will be like a new gold standard for the industry. Because, for example, if I work with some DeFi on, I don't know, let it be like a Polygon ZK, but I wanted to initiate the transaction and use liquidity from the Haust network, then it means that I have to, in the previous, I had to do so many steps, to make it real, and, like a user experience almost terrible. It was almost terrible. And right now you can use liquidity from one chain to initiate some, like to transfer it across the chain, initiate some like a transaction, or just work with some smart contract on other chains. And it's important. And basically on the Haust network, we have, like, as I remember, like too many of the smart contracts, not launched by our company, so launched by some external users. And just in case if someone wanted to build also like some complex strategy across the many chains, or to make some arbitrage, across the chains and across the DeFi strategies. So, the Agglayer is one of possible solution, and I hope the best one, how to do it.
Yeah, you're really helping Polygon here, luring people in with some of the house liquidity. Because we know already.
Better to provide liquidity from other chains, to our.
Yes, of course. Good, thanks. This is really great. Now let's maybe talk a little bit about some of other innovations that you are working with. I heard something about some sort of a Paymaster feature. Maybe that's the agent you're talking about. Maybe you have some particular connections, like how the transaction cost and the account abstraction simplify the onboarding process. Maybe there are some technical details you want to share still about either existing parts that we haven't touched upon, or upcoming roadmap that the Haust network has.
Yeah, cool. So, when you develop such a complex ecosystem, you each time should be prepared to some pivots or additional features. That means that your solution should be like flexible and include some components that can be reused on some few more like user scenarios or some other business cases. And because of it, like we use an account abstraction and like a Paymaster to work, like, because we decide to use it, right now we can build AI agents on top of it. And it's important. Yeah.
And maybe we could unfold a little bit for everybody else. Sorry to interrupt, but maybe we can unfold to everybody else what Paymaster is.
Yeah, sure. So the Paymaster is a solution that covered your gas fees cost, or allow you to pay for some gas fees in stablecoins, as an example. Yeah, so doesn't mean that you have to use then like a native cryptocurrency to pay for the gas fees. You can use your stablecoins or whatever. It means that you even don't need to have like some native currency, so to pay for your transaction fees. And it's worked pretty well in the context of Agglayer. Yeah, so in our application we will launch like abstracted account across all the supported chains. That means that users say, okay, I wanted to send like, let's be or I wanted to aggregate liquidity in this specific chain and then do some DeFi strategy. And how it was in the past, that he should care about native cryptocurrencies in the destination chain to make some steps then, But with the Paymaster and with account abstraction, he don't need it. So just simple, So for example, if I send like a few thousand of $US to new destination chain to use it in like fork of AVE protocol, as an example, so all the transaction fees will be covered by the Paymaster, and the Paymaster gets some small percent of my stable coins to cover the expenses for the transaction fees. It's how it works, And moreover, so I call it like a problem of the first transaction. When you're first time open your MetaMask, and just send some, let it be stable coins from your centralized exchange account to your address inside the MetaMask, you start do something, and you can't, because you don't have enough of cryptocurrency to cover the transaction fees. So Paymaster solved this issue. And moreover, according to our business logic, some of the transaction will be for free for end user, because on our network, and it's why we need such cheap transaction, we can cover it. And you don't need to have a native currency to pay for the transaction fees. It can be covered by the stable coins or whatever. It's the first part. The second part is about account abstraction in general. Especially our implementation is modular account abstraction. That means that later we will be able to add new models to provide new user experience and provide new features. As an example, like a social recovery, or some guardians who care about, for example, you lost your private keys, but because of its account abstraction, you can connect or call to your granny and say, okay, sorry, can you help me to recover my account abstraction, and granny say, okay, yeah, sure. You're not a scammer, right? So and you will get back the access to your liquidity and to your assets and your DeFi strategies, even in the case if you lost your private keys, with this guardian or with social recovery and a few other more cool features. And one more part and one more use case I previously covered, that you will be able to allow like some external smart contract or external address to do some specific action with your balance, with your account. It doesn't mean that you will share your private keys. No. They will be able to do just what you allow him to do. Just like in simple question, just send some transaction if something happened. And you don't need to sit in close to your laptop and just approve. You don't need to do it, because you will provide access and provide some possibilities to some external solution, and it works pretty well together with AI agents.
This AI agent, how do you manage permissions? What AI agent can do within? I'm not sure if this is connected specifically to account or to a pool of accounts or something like that. But how do users make sure that AI agent won't do any things behind their back, so to say?
Yeah, right. And I think it's the most important question, about interaction with AI agents and the blockchain. Yeah, because you're right. In the past, you have to send your private keys to AI agents to do something, but it's terrible and definitely unsecure. And because of it, you're right. Like a modular and account abstraction allow AI agents to do, but just specifically what you previously agreed on. So it can't, for example, you said, okay, in the case if ETH touch like 3,000, send 100 of stable coins to my mom. Let it be, and that means that after this, AI agents can't, destroy your DeFi position and just steal all the money. No, it can't. Just one thing that AI agent will be able to do is to make some transfer, specifically as you said. So here we don't have any compromission with the security perspective. Yeah, so we're really trying to simplify everything, but without destroying the security and without creating new security risk. Right now, with even how our AI agents actually works without this account abstraction, so it prepares a transaction for you, and you will check it in the visual format. Okay, it's what I'm trying to do, and then just click sign and sign the transaction as it normal. But it's on one page, on one interface. But in the future, when we will integrate these AI agents with our mobile application and with the modular account abstractions that we used inside our application, so we will provide more more advanced option for end user and few more user scenarios. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, thanks. Let's talk back the business of what Haust Network enables different industries to do. Now, as you are doing this layer of abstraction for everybody to be able to use crypto payments, what kind of business models or what industries should start looking into your network as a solution to their particular problems?
I really hope that it'll be like some classical institutional fintech guys, because right now, and you can see it as a trend, I think that more and more banks try to provide neobanks mostly, honestly, try to provide some blockchain features to their users, but each time it's tricky. So it can be custodial or non-custodial solution. And the house here is somewhere in the middle, because with this account abstraction, this aspect of like semi-custodial solution, it can be achieved. That it means that like the banks or some neobanks will do something with your account, but it still will be your own non-custodial account. And I think it's a huge, So we really wanted to be one entry point, as I said, into the DeFi and into the blockchain, but we don't want to limit ourselves just with the blockchain implementation. It's also like we see a huge potential how to work with a neo-banking solution, and so also pretty popular some card issuers, like guys who create some physical cards for the crypto payment or whatever, and we see that once they also will recognize that AI agents already is here, and they will need some backbones to their own solution, and we wanted to be like an answer and provider for such solution.
These financial institutions, whether new or mature, what concerns do you think they might have in terms of adopting blockchain technology that Haust Network actually addresses, and they don't need to be concerned about it anymore?
Definitely the biggest one is about security and other part of this. And from the security standpoint, we just passed an audit, and we don't have any critical issues. Only one issue was with a high, but it was related to the covered some user payments, as I said before. So when we with this Paymaster, and we resolve all the medium, all the low, and even all the suggestions. So our solution is absolutely secure, but once we will provide new more and more features, and all the classical institutionals try to take care, because they have responsibilities about some money or what they integrate under the hood, and they scared about some fake tokens, the fake or phishing DeFi, it's like a smart contract or even a website or whatever. So they try to keep balance between a control and APIs that user gets out of it. And we try to keep both. We try to be absolutely secure and try to provide access to the highest revenue for the institutionals and users. So we'll see. And with this, and when we will integrate some maybe neo-banking solution, we will also provide more classical approach. So it doesn't mean that they will bring their community to us. It also means that we can, like our community also will have access to their services. So it's a really ping pong game, you know. And yeah, and our community luckily is pretty big, and you know our chief marketing officer did a pretty good job with it, because you know the number of our subscribers like pretty big, and still growing. So I hope that we will be a really trust point for our community, and you know can provide them bigger and bigger opportunities without compromise with security. So yeah.
Right. Good. Thank you. Quick fire questions. What's the best thing working with Polygon?
Okay, it's well developed ecosystem, let's say. Yeah, because we're not the first one who tried to do something. That means that we can reuse already existed experience, and someone most likely try to do something that's close to our solution. Yeah, that means that we will just need to find some component and integrate it. So this component works, nice. The second, the same. Okay, let's bring it together and see how it will works.
Good. Thanks. What's the best way of working with Gateway?
You know, the responsibility. So there, you know, and like it happens sometime when we just call to the guys from the gateway, okay guys, you know, can you please improve this update, or you know fix something just in the air, you know, and we successfully done with it. Yeah, so like real the fast answers.
Good, thanks. And what's the best thing about Haust Network bringing it to the world?
I think the new vision how to interact with the blockchain and with the DeFi, because nobody tried to really do the same as we are doing right now. Yeah, so we'll see. And we're really planning to be the first one who provides such user experience to the community. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, let's pause here. We will have a lot more talk about later on in your new milestones. But for now, we can take a pause, say thank you, and everybody for listening. And if you have any closing words, go ahead.
You know, like, you can see that right now, like the technology and the world in general, like are changing pretty fast. And something that was an idea a few months ago, right now it's reality. Yeah. So in Haust Network, we really try to stay on the top of the idea, so we start to predict next trends, you know, and be prepared for it. It's, as an example, why we decide to pay a lot of attention for AI agents, you know, and a new way how the user will work with the blockchain in the near future. Yeah, so thank you for your, like, really thank you for your attention, and I really wanted to say thank you everyone who supports us across this journey. Yeah, we have an absolutely awesome community, you know, who don't let us to create some mistakes, you know, check everything and really follow our vision. And you know, I think it's the best and the coolest part what we have. It's our community. So thank you, and thank you for all the partners who provide some services for us. Yeah.
Yeah, and we are so glad to be alongside of you in this journey. So thanks again. Thanks everybody for listening, and talk to you soon.
Bye bye.